G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. I'm David. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. It'd be great to get your support. Today I've got another juniper procumbens prostrata that belongs to the same customer that I've done the last two juniper procumbens prostratas for. This one obviously is a Cascade in a very tall pot, very tall. Now, not 100% sure where the owner's previous front was. This Cascade branch obviously tells a lot. To think about it, the way I like Cascades is I like to actually see the pot and then the Cascade branch to the side and coming back around. Usually that's what I like seeing. And that's how I like to see Cascades, not directly like this directly in front of you. It kind of doesn't really show the tree off. I want to see a bit of an apex, and then I want to see a bit of the Cascade branch. Usually what I will also want is the apex going in the direction of the Cascade branch. So I think that's where maybe this issue is slightly with this tree. However, I should be able to fix a lot of this with wire. So if I have it as this, everything's at the back. The whole apex is at the back. So I don't think that is going to work entirely, but we'll have another look. So really this is determining where the front really is. Once we've got the front, then it's just going to be, honestly, it's just going to be wiring. Now if I have that as the front, I'm going to have to push everything that way, which I think is more likely to be able to do it. Now, this is a very long branch here, and I should be able to maneuver a lot of the top stuff as well, maybe into a new cascade. Maybe this is the new apex in here. This could be the new top of the tree. So what I will do now is keep turning it, and the more I turn it, the better I'll get in terms of view of that base, the nabari, the apex, and then all it's a matter of doing is bringing this cascade back around, bringing that over a bit more, having another tree, and then trying to maneuver these into place to try and create a cascade tree. So create an apex in here, get this branch moved around so they can actually come down this side. So a little bit falling over at the moment, and then build out the tree. So really, once you define where your apex, where your front of the tree is, the rest is a simple matter of wiring. I just want to take you through some of the structural work I've done initially. So structural work's really important to set the foundation of the tree. It looks a little bit messy at the moment, but I put a bit of block of wood here just to prop this bit up. It's kind of just hanging down and dropping down. So I need to prop it up a little bit just to get this slight downward movement and then around. So I've wired this branch around, and that's how it comes more to the front. I haven't wired any sub branches. There is a lacking amount of branches here. There's nothing really here, so we'll have to somehow disguise that. Maybe putting this back branch in there in place to give it some needed depth. This cascade branch will be fine. The issue was structurally in the apex. Now what happened is there was only one branch here, really heavy, that ran directly, I think it was directly in the front here at one stage. So I've been able to push it back and wire it and put it in here just for now, but it doesn't really create an apex at all. So that was my issue. It didn't really create an apex that I needed. It doesn't have the branching. The apex will have to sit in here, kind of on the side. So what I've done is actually, because junipers are incredibly flexible, I'll show you what I've done now. There was a back branch in here that I've wired, heavily wired, nice close coils. And I'm turning it back slowly to try and get it back into an apex form. So this is easily, now I can wire all these sub branches and so on. But I'm wiring this slowly back to create a new apex, build a new apex for the tree. So I'm building it up here. So trying to really create a new one, much more interesting, follows all the crazy symmetry and movement of the tree. So it should actually come up really nice with all the foliage once I wire all this out, get all this in place. It should actually look quite nice. Nice triangular form in here. That means this one doesn't probably need to be as long. I could have a secondary cascade branch maybe, but I don't think so. I think it's just gonna, I might shorten it. or I might remove it, but probably might shorten it just because I don't want to cut off such a big branch, and maybe push it more towards the back. So we'll see how it goes. But just structurally, some key fundamental changes I had to make for this tree. You know, obviously wiring the Cascade branch, this heavy second trunk, but I had to really be creative and think outside the box. I'm trying to bring this back around the back branch around into here to create a new, more interesting, smaller apex. Much more interesting. It sits in the right spot. I couldn't really use this branch. Even if I twisted it back around and up here, it'll look a bit silly and contrived. It's beyond what it is now, but it'd be way too silly and contrived. So, and it'll be probably too difficult because there's a bit of a dead pit in the top here. So there's more chance it will split. But other than that, I'm going to now just wire a lot of this up, see where this ends up. I probably will be removing a lot of this bit here, and then just wiring all these branches. All right, where I'm up to is I have done I'm really happy with the job that I've done to create a new apex with the back branch. So you can see it's been bent up and all wired into place. And luckily I had some nice side branches that I can use lower down. It's got a little back branch just to add a bit more depth. It's perfect, but all this is just off one branch and wired out to make a new apex. From front on, it looks pretty cool. Nice smaller tree. Maybe a couple of these branches need to just grow out a bit more and fill in this gap here. That's about all there is, but it's much nicer than trying to bend this branch into a new apex. Just wouldn't work. So now I'm slowly working my way down and start to wire some of these branches. Just trying to understand and decide how long I want this branch. I haven't even started wiring the Cascade branch, but I'll get to that eventually. But I want to probably bring it around a bit more now. But yeah, just got to figure out where I want to end with this. And because it's very long at the moment and will block a lot of this. So ideally, I have to figure it out, but I might even wire some of this first before I do any cutting off that. But most likely we'll have to cut some of this back just to give it a bit more. Obviously, it's just too long. It shouldn't overshadow this branch too much. I can't really create another cascade with it. It'll look a bit too unkept. So we're going to go with the one cascade branch, and this is a nice strong first branch, I guess you can call it, just to give you that balance. Okay. So quick update how the tree is progressing. It's doing quite well. You can now start to see the lovely pad formation happening, even pads at the back to give you depth. All that's starting to happen really well. I'm down into this area now here to finish off the tree. It's looking really good. So you can see the back branches on the cascade as well. Very important to always have back branches. This has come out exceptionally well. I'm super happy with this whole area. So I ended up reducing probably that length off that branch and just created like a first branch. Think of it as a nice strong first branch in here, creating a nice flow on. Shorter this side, a bit longer this side, and then the cascade branch working its way through the tree. Back branches is really important on cascades. Make sure you keep back branches to give you the depth. You don't want to have a two-dimensional tree, so really important to have that. And now I'm into the final bit, into down here, where I'll keep going through and just keep creating those pads as I go through. Try and randomize them as much as I can. Yeah, so the only issue was there wasn't much branching on here, so I'll bring that around to create a branch in there and try and create a little bit of an apex in here, almost like a mini tree, small apexy area up here to give you interest in the tree there too. So just to let me finish off and we'll see what it ends up looking like. So here is the finished Cascade juniper that's been fully wired. And it's looking really nice. I will try and move up and down the tree because it gives you it's difficult to view the whole tree as one. So coming down into there, coming up around, coming back here. So hope you guys you saw that. Really just needed picking a front and then working with that front to get the best cascade. The biggest change was getting that back branch up and around to create a new apex, much smaller apex, more refined. Looks really nice and tight in terms of the foliage. It's coming up really well. The pot, yeah, we can say a lot about the pot, but we'll leave it as it is. could be a smaller pot would be nice for this tree. It's a bit too big, this pot at the moment. The Cascade branch is really nice and healthy. All the branches are all nicely padded away, all have very flat levels, and the bottom bit comes back around a little bit, so which is nice. You can always tweak. The owner can always tweak this a little bit more here and there. No big deal. It's just much better looking right now. I put a little brace up in between here rather than have that big huge wood. Just put a little bit of copper wire there to hold that up. It just needs time to settle into that position, and it should hold in the future. It's very similar to applying wire, but I guess it's just going to grow into that position now. Maybe at repotting we can actually change the angle so it doesn't have to have that big bit of copper in there. All right, if you've got any questions, happy to answer them. But yeah, this is my preference for a Cascade, how Cascades could look. I like them coming down and around and back to the front at the tip. And having a small apex for me is very important as well. So all in all, nice healthy juniper, and hope you guys enjoyed the transformation. Thanks for watching. See you next time.